Some of the terminology that the apostles and disciples of Jesus used in their letters that God preserved for us, that we might hear and believe the truth. Because, like one of them is, Jesus said, "Take my yoke upon you." And we need to understand when we're talking about a yoke, you know, we're talking about something that controls a person. This was something that you would put on an ox or a horse to pull a carriage or whatever. This was something to control the beast, to make it work for you. So when we're talking about a yoke, we're talking about something that we're under the control of, that we submit to. The Apostle Peter, he talks about the yoke of bondage, because if we've been delivered from the yoke of bondage when we entered the faith of Jesus Christ in water baptism, and then we're filled with the Spirit of promise, he says to entangle ourselves again in the yoke of bondage. He says the latter state of that person will be worse than the beginning. And he is talking about the unclean spirit that has gone out of a person when they're cleansed and they're made a new creature. Because it's described in Jesus' parable of the unclean spirit that goes out of a man, going through dry places, seeking rest, and finding none, he returns to the house from whence he came out. And it says that he finds it swept and clean and unoccupied. He goes and finds 7 other spirits more wicked than himself and enters back into that person, and the latter state is worse than the first. Okay, well, seeing that, the story of the lame man by the pool of Bethesda in John chapter 5, when Jesus healed this man on the Sabbath day and commanded him to pick up his bed and walk with it, which was not lawful for him to do. The Jews got him to set it back down, and Jesus found him later in the temple and said, "Look, you're made whole. Go and sin no more, lest a worse thing come upon you." We got to understand what Paul wrote in Romans 14:23, whatsoever is not of faith is sin. We're talking about the faith of Jesus Christ. To put yourself back underneath the law and not follow the faith of Jesus Christ is sin. We need to